BigCountryPreps.com. I'm Evan Wren, and this is the Countdown to Two-A-Days series. Our daily look at an area football team and the key questions we'll be answering about that team on our August 19th preseason football preview here at Big Country Preps. I'm with my partner, Dan Youngblood, via Zoom. And tonight, Dan, we're talking about the Miles Bulldogs.
Yeah, and it's this Miles team. There's some good news and bad news going into this season. The good news is they've got a lot more experience coming back this year than they did last year, when they had just two players from that 2024 varsity back. And then they did go through a little bit of a rebuilding year, went 2-8 last season. This year, they've got 15 of their 19 varsity players back this year, including 9 starters on both sides of the football. So a lot of experience back, kids who struggled a little bit in their first go round, but have a full year of experience under their belt. So that's going to be a big advantage. Now for the bad news, they're in a really tough district if you want to make a big jump, where you've got to contend with Albany, you've got to contend with Stamford, you got to contend with Goldthwaite, who should be very good this year. So it's going to be a kind of a fun year to watch, see if Miles can get back to a level where they'd kind of been playing under Coach Jason Wilhelm before last year, when we all knew it was going to be a rebuilding year. I remember sitting here this time last year kind of talking about that. It was going to be a tough year just because of what they lost, but now they've got some experience, and I'll be eager to see kind of what they can do in 2026.
Okay. Before we jump into our key questions about Miles, we want to remind you folks who are enjoying these preseason videos to please hit the subscribe button. It is free on YouTube. Also hit share and hit like. Won't you please? We appreciate it. All right, Dan, with that, 3 key questions about the Miles Bulldogs. Go ahead and fire away.
And I'll start with the big one, and it's just that experience question. This is a team that does return quite a few kids who played a lot of Friday night football last year. One downside is they've not had the numbers to play JV, so all the experience they've gotten has been at the varsity level. But they do have 15 lettermen back from a team that from 15 players back who played pretty much all season for them last year for the most part, and 9 starters on back on both sides of the ball. So you're only having to fill two spots with newcomers. I think that's going to be an advantage. I just want to see how big an advantage that can be. Obviously, this team is pretty light on depth. They're going to have to stay healthy. That's true of most teams at Class 2A D2, but it's certainly true of this one. So, how big an advantage will that experience be for them this year? Can they take a step forward and get back into that playoff discussion?
I think you're being kind on the depth thing. They're going to have a lot of two-way players. So every time they lose a player to injury, they're really losing 2.
Yeah.
So it's going to be absolutely crucial for the Bulldogs to avoid the injury bug in 2026. That's going to be absolutely crucial. They do have 9 starters back on both sides of the ball, but we'll see. They've got to stay healthy, no question about it. One question that I would have about Miles is their overall size. They really don't have a lot of big kids. Their cupboard does not have a lot of 200-pounders in it. It's a smallish team. However, they do run a spread offense, which is one way that you can avoid that weakness. If they can spread the football around and make plays on the perimeter, they might have a shot. They do have some experience at quarterback. They just need to do whatever they can to overcome that. Maybe pass to set up the run instead of the reverse.
Yeah, I think that's going to be size is going to probably be a challenge for them on both sides of the football. I think that, like you said, the spread offense can limit some of that on the offensive side. The defensive side, we'll see.
Pretty
It's
hard to hide it there.
harder to hide on the defensive side.
Uh,
But my third question, and you kind of touched on it, the experience of that quarterback position. And Liam Yancey is a kid who has played a ton of varsity football. He had a phenomenal sophomore season for that really good 2024 team. Last year took a little bit of a step back, just in it's natural. He was one of 2 returners from the team the year before. Had a whole new cast on the offensive line, largely a whole new cast in the skill positions. And it struggled a little bit more than he did the year before. So my question is can he get back to where he was as a sophomore with a group that he's been playing with now? They've got experience together. Can that chemistry lead to more similar results to what he put up as a sophomore? One thing about this Miles team is they don't have a lot of size, and we talked about that. We touched on that one, but they do have a little bit of skill talent. Liam Yancey's a really capable quarterback. They've got a good running back in Ryder Satepa Hoodle. They've got a really strong receiver in Caden Carmody and some other kids who have played a lot of football for them. It's going to be I'm just interested to see if they can take a big step forward offensively. This is a program that has been explosive offensively in the past. Can they get back to that point this year?
By the way, thank you for teaching me how to pronounce Ryder Satapahoodle because I would have butchered that. And I appreciate that. That's
And
very
I may
big of you.
have, if I did, I apologize. But yeah, he's a really talented player. Played quite a bit as a sophomore, and then or if he actually played as a freshman and a sophomore. And he's a guy who they're going to be leaning on heavily. So he's one of several skill. They've got some intriguing young skill players. It's just a matter of whether they can get them out in the perimeter and get them in space to
Yeah,
create big plays.
if they get the passes out there and catch them in space, they have a shot. Use their perimeter passing game as their running game.
Yeah.
So we shall see how they do. All right, and with that, it's about time to take a look at the schedule for Miles for 2026. But before we do that, we want to remind you that we're adding 5 new teams to the Big Country Preps family this year. Mason, Hamilton, Jacksboro, Seymour, and Stanton will all be a part of the Big Country Preps family, and we welcome you, folks. We welcome you aboard.
Yeah, excited to add those five. It's going to be really fun to cover their seasons this year. But yeah, we're just really looking forward to it. We hope y'all are looking forward to our coverage of those programs.
All right, Dan. With that, it's time to take a look at Miles' schedule. We'll start with the non-district portion. Um, it's not an easy schedule. It's got some challenges to it. The non-district portion. They will open up at home against Sonora on August the 28th. Then they'll hit the road and face Cristoval on September 4th. September 11th will be another home date against Reagan County, and then they will hit the road again on September 18th against El Dorado, and then they'll have no off date heading into district, which was it's nice to have, but they don't have it.
Yeah, with the 17 district, it's on that rotating scale. And they don't have they got a tough go right as they jump into district. They travel to Stanford for their district opener on September 25th. Come home to play a really good Goldthwait team on the 2nd of October. Go to Winters on the 9th of October, and then finally have their open date on October 16th. Come out of that one with a big game against Hamlin on October 23rd at home. Travel to Albany on October 30th, and then wrap up their regular season schedule with another big one at home against Cross Plains on November 6th.
All right, Miles, game of the year. I'm going to jump in first on this one. I think it's that Hamlin date at home on October the 23rd. That's a game that they're going to have to win if they want to have a shot at that number 4 spot in district and get that final playoff seed. That home date with the Pied Pipers is going to be one of the crucial ones. There's another crucial one too. That Cross Plains date, season finale. That could be a deciding game as well.
Yeah.
But game of the year, I'll take Hamlin, October 23rd.
Yeah, I had those same two games circled, and I think the Hamlin one, without winning the Hamlin one, the Cross Plains game loses some of its significance. So the Hamlin one, I think, is the big one. You got to win that one to give yourself an opportunity to play Cross Plains probably for that fourth playoff spot. One big advantage for them for Miles when you look at their schedules, they get both of those games, Hamlin and Cross Plains at home, which will be a nice advantage.
Yes,
And they will
yes.
have to go on the road to play Winters, which will probably be another game that will kind of determine, who gets that fourth playoff spot. But those two really big ones are at home, and that should be a nice thing to have.
A loss at Winters would be a killer
It would
for
be.
them. That would
You
be
got to
an
find a way to
absolute kill. That is
win.
actually it's a must win. They've got to take
Yeah,
that one.
agree.
All right. With that, it's about time to wrap up this edition of the Countdown to Two-A-Days series, the Miles Bulldogs. But before we do that, we want to remind you one more time, August 19th, that's the big day here at Big Country Preps. That's the day we release our preseason football preview, the most comprehensive look at area football of any media source in our area. As a matter of fact, it's not even close.
Yeah, if you are interested in high school football, you are going to want to be there for that. In the meantime, we appreciate you watching this episode of our Countdown to Two-A-Days series, and we encourage you to come back tomorrow when we'll take a look at the Stanford Bulldogs here at BigCountryPreps.com.